Welcome to my channel, those of you who are on the Sacred Union journey and are having moments of real experience, direct experience of energy changes within you and around you. Welcome to this reading. This is Anais, also known here on YouTube as Patreon Sage for the time being, and I want to thank you for stopping by. I'm launching into new territory here with this reading. That's not unusual for me, but I think this is going to be an interesting journey for you and for me. My guidance from Source and Gaia and from the current energies of the Sacred Union process right now, the part of Ascension that involves Sacred Union, was to do a first reading for a soul group. And this reading is for the soul group that I'm in, and it's to be an example of a soul group reading, because for some of you who are well all along your way in the Ascension journey and in the twin flame, or as I prefer to call it, the Sacred Union adventure, if you're not already in your soul group, you are going to be coming into awareness about who is in your soul group and how that may differ from people who are in your primary family, and how that may differ from people who are in your soul family. You may have people in your soul family who are not at the core kernel of your Sacred Union soul group. The distinction is that people in your soul family will be serving your union and ascension journey as well as their own, but the way they will go about it will be different. They will still be coming from the perspective of polarity and of duality. Their consciousness is not yet fully immersed or transmuted or transformed into the third way energy. And so while these are people that you dearly love and they are members of your soul family, in any one of your alternate lifetimes, they may have been a soulmate, a beloved, a partner, a husband or a wife or a child. That may be a role that they're holding presently in this particular alternate timeline incarnation that you're experiencing, and that's different from your soul group. Your soul group has already gone through the experience of coming into union, and you are functioning as a united group, each of you supporting Sacred Union within yourselves and supporting Sacred Union as a co-creative process within your soul group. So your soul group may have come together to work on a specific mission, and you're probably on your way to doing this. You may already be in this. You may already be doing this. This may be expanding for you. So I'm going to go through the cards as they were presented to me, and first we're going to look at the story of how a soul group can come into being and align with an ascension journey for multiple people. This is for multiple people who are coming together in union as a soul group, and within this soul group there are sacred unions. Some have been already established, some are forming, some are about to form, and some people in the group are in the position of riding perhaps the next wave of sacred union, or they're on an ascension journey that it has been determined by their meta being it's best for them to carry on as an individual until such time as a partner of the right frequency and vibration and emanation from source can join them in their mission work that they're doing here in this 3D domain. Now, this is complicated, so I'm going to take my time to go slowly and to unpack it for you, and it's going to be a long reading, but I think it will be a valuable reading for you. And if you would like to book a specific soul group Ascension Journey Sacred Union reading, you can email me and I will be happy to do that with you, and information you need for that will be in the description box below. So let's first begin with what is the purpose of the Ascension experience. The Ascension experience is one of recalibrating the vibration of the entire source creation so that the specks, flecks, beams, black holes, and other aspects of creation which have created and manifested but have not done so within the original source divine blueprint for creation and co-creation. So we're dealing with multiple levels of consciousness here because we have people, we have beings, we have energies, creative energies, co-creative energies, who have always functioned in alignment with Source. And they are here as part of the team for all of us choosing where we'd like to go, how we'd like to get there, who we are, and who we are most specifically in our wholeness. And I'm speaking about people who are aware that their wholeness is aligned with Source divine original blueprint for creation. This is beyond any time scale that any of us can possibly begin to comprehend, although we have reached the stage in the human collective journey where we have conversations going on about string theory and quantum theory and plasma energy. And so we have raised our vibration as a collective here within this particular construct of co-creation, and it is a construct, and it is a particular part of the creation. You can think of it as a room in a gigantic house. Or you can think of it as a set on a production company where we have spent a lot of time putting together the productions of consciousness with which we're in alignment. Now, on this set, there are many other productions that are happening, and not all of them are in alignment with Source co-creation, but they are in alignment with the freedom to co-create as one will choose to work with one's own consciousness. Source has made room for this form of expression in its co-creation up until very recently. And now it has been determined that some of the productions within the creation, it's time to shut them down. I won't go into the reasons for that. I could do a whole webinar on that, and maybe in our next Meeting the Beloved or in an upcoming Meeting with the Beloved, we'll take up this topic. So I'm speaking to those people who will resonate with a clear understanding that they are an emanation from Source, from the original divine blueprint co-creation. They are the ones, we are the ones who have been working, doing the inner work, clearing our soul wounds, doing our inner child work, doing our shadow work, clearing away anything that is not in alignment with our experience of being whole within Source Original Divine Blueprint Co-Creation. This has been a massive undertaking, and let me express my appreciation and gratitude to all of you who are functioning on this bandwidth, on this frequency. We all owe each other an enormous expression of gratitude and appreciation, because the journey has been long and the work has been really challenging. It is the most challenging work any of us in an embodied form of flesh consciousness have ever had to undertake. And it has been hundreds of thousands of years in the making on our time scale. And without the confines of our time scale, although we keep thinking in terms of time, we can't seem to help it. It's been longer. So now that I've explained to you what a soul family is, what a soul group is, then I'm going to go into the journey of how a soul group with multiple expressions of sacred union happening within it comes about. And I will be sharing elements of my own story, just so that we have points of reference for each other and points where you can feel whether there's any resonance for you in this reading. So I am using the Fairies Oracle deck, the Good Tarot, the Secret Language of Light deck, and as far as I know, that's all that I'll be using at this time, unless I get an energetic impulse to clarify with another deck, and that's quite possible. It happens. It happens frequently. And as you already know, I do intuitive readings. I do not do readings based on the traditional tarot with their emphasis on past, present, future, on their emphasis on archetypal roles within the human collective, which have been recycled and recycled and recycled and recycled and recycled ad nauseum. So we're in transition, and those of us are in sacred union journey are clear about the transition that we're in. We're not here to give any additional energy to anything but Source co-creation in wholeness. So that's where I'm coming from. I know many of you are also coming from that same place. I know many of you are at the beginning of your journey and you have much to experience. And I know many of us are nearing the conclusion of our journey, and we have much to share for you to see whether there's any resonance, and then use your discernment. If there's any wisdom for you that helps you as part of your team, as part of the human collective team, make this ascension journey in a way that is filled with ease, abundance, grace, unconditional love, and impossibly deep gratitude. Okay, so having said all that, I'm going to begin with the journey itself, and I'm going to go one card at a time. The first card we have out is the Guardian of the Gate. And this is where all of us are beginning our ascension and our sacred union journey. We are beginning at the gate, where the guardians of the gate are helping us form our teams, helping us remember who we are in our totality, helping us remember what's known as our Akashic Record, which is simply the holographic version of experience that we've had within the construct. And the construct is vast. The construct at this point includes almost the entire Milky Way galaxy. So I need you to think on that scale as we go through this reading. Now, as we, in a sense, come into alignment with and at the gate, and with the guardian at the gate, we are in touch with our monad. We are reassembling the monad, the first emanation that we emerged from Source in Source co-creation. That is what sacred union is. It is the reassembling of the monad with all of its experience and learning and extension and expansion of co-creative consciousness. That's the beginning of the ascension journey, and that happens within. It is not an externalized expression in any form within Source. It is an internal experiential dimension or space of consciousness. We don't really have the proper language for this, but you could think of it as the 0 point of all 0 points. It is where all potential for co-creation has existed, and it is the potential from which all co-creation has emerged. Once we have come into this choice of how we are going to return to and from Source, this is a conscious choice about how we are going to emerge to and from Source. We are released through the gate to make that exact journey, to emerge from Source and to return to Source. This is the beginning of our journey, and this takes on many, 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 many cycles of co-creation. In those cycles of co-creation, we remain one whole, undivided being within the creation of Source. And then we have been given the gift by the guardian at the gate to explore as many of the dimensions of co-creation, unconscious, subconscious, and conscious, so that we may return to our whole emanation as a monad, having experienced, expressed, and understood all. Big chills. The next card out is Unity. And Unity here, if you look at it with me, this is our emanation from the internal 0 point of Source co-creation. This is our point of monadic origin. And we emerge from that point of monadic origin holding an intrinsic pattern of unity that we cannot escape from, forget, or deny. And from that agreement, we come forth and we go through multiple realms and multiple environments of co-creation. Again, subconscious, unconscious, and conscious. From a subatomic particle to a complete manifestation and integration of a fully formed being, one of which forms may be the human being, with which we contribute to Source co-creation by becoming sentient and conscious of who we are, why we are, what we are, how we are. And that is an expression of being. From here, in the energy of unity, we branch out. We branch out in the co-creation. We branch out because we're going to generate, when we're going to generate more information about the infinite nature of co-creation, and we're going to then share that information as energy with Source when we return to our original emanation in the internal experience of Source creation, Source co-creation. So this branching out becomes the basis for timelines, if you want to think about other timelines, expressions of consciousness, forms. All of this is a branching out from unity. And you can see that it's all connected. Any branch out from the tree of life, you could call this, some people do call this the tree of life. Any branching out from the tree of life, there's a flow back into the tree of life, into the center of it, into the center of, you could think of it as Source co-creation bliss channel. And unless we make decisions to consciously break off and go into full, what we would call death, unable to return to conscious co-creation for untold expressions of what we think of as time. Because we would break off from here, we would drop, then we would eventually, by the generosity of Source, be drawn back into the return journey, but we would be drawn back completely unrecognizable as a conscious self. We would become just specks of transient energy with no intention, no ability to hold intention, because we have refused to align our intention with the generosity and the amazing expression that's possible within Source conscious co-creation, and for us to experience all of that, all of it, there would be no need from us to break off. So those who have chosen to break off have chosen to break off because they were envious of this original situation, and they wanted to go off and co-create an entire new, what they would think of as a source that they could then do as they pleased, as they chose. So unity lets us know that that's actually not really a possibility. And we should really allow ourselves to come into the magnitude of that understanding and its implications, many of which have become distorted in the human collective by religious doctrine and all kinds of myths and stories of gods and goddesses, and it's become a gigantic mess, and it is being gently and beautifully deconstructed by Source to bring it all back home, where we'll begin again, if that is what the emanation from Source brings into co-creation, something new. So those of you who are on this journey are really experiencing yourself being made new. This has been going on for decades for some of us. For some of you, it has been going on for a few months or a few years. In some of you, it's just been going on for a few days or weeks. But wave after wave coming in from the original emanation of your monad, which is the inescapable emanations coming directly from Source, you are feeling yourself being made new. And that is the journey. You're going to be experiencing yourself being made new, becoming whole, coming into union with those parts of you who have been part of your monad expression. This will be your soul family, this will be your soul group, all beginning to flow back into this main energy until what we would think of as these branches have been reabsorbed into this central channel and original emanation. And we're doing this with love and gratitude and appreciation. And those of us who are aligned in our soul groups, we have come together to assist each other in our challenges so that we can live again in the full 360-degree wholeness, spherical expression of Source co-creation. Now, out of this unity, coming from the monad, we have He of the fiery sword, and this is the divine masculine co-creative energy. It is the electric magnetic, and it is 1/3 of co-creation, not 1/2. It is 1/3. The other third of this is, I will find the card for you, it's She of the Kruak. It is the feminine energy, and these three energies form the Trinity. Now in this reading, the She of the Kruak is not showing up because in our soul journey she's so embedded in us because of our alignment with Gaia that we don't have to necessarily look at her in this soul reading. She may come up in another reading, but I'm going to find the card for you so that you can see it and experience the energy of it in its representation as an image. This is She of the Kruak, and she is the feminine essence within all co-creation. And here is the masculine, He of the fiery sword, the electric. She of the Kruak is the magnetic energy. Together they are the basis of plasma. They are the basis of all that happens within Source co-creation. This is a beautiful outpicturing of the Trinity. And in the journey of ascension and in the experience of sacred union, in our physical bodies, we are bringing these two energies together in their proper alignment, 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. And so when we talk about integrating the divine masculine and the divine feminine within, this is what we're doing. We're bringing these energies together so that we can experience unity within ourselves and in our wholeness and understand that we are functioning in a sphere. We are not functioning in a Vesica Pisces. We are not functioning in yin and yang. Yin and yang doesn't discuss the role of unity as a third energy. So the yin and yang system is a dying, dead system because it has no access to this energy. These two energies can create and create and create, and they can certainly reproduce, but they cannot regenerate. They cannot regenerate. They cannot begin anew. They cannot become new without the energy of Source. They cannot. And as many stories as you would like to hear that, it's all about this and that. It's all about her and him. It's all about us and them. It's all about good and bad, right, wrong. This is a sad state of affairs when we allow ourselves to close off and we're no longer experiencing being made new and regenerating in source energy. Now, there are other systems and alignment of schools of thought that try to compete with this, and it is that energy which is the source of all destructive competition that we experience in our lives. And I could name that energy for you, but I think it would be more valuable for you to discover that for yourself. Because that's what this journey is about. It is about self-discovery and self-expression and the gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous experience of consciously co-creating. Not in competition, but in cooperation with the experience of a foundation of truth, trust, and transparency, ease, grace, unconditional love, abundance, and gratitude. Okay, so now I've shown you Shia the Kruak. I'm going to just set her aside here for a minute. Over here, she's fine there. Now we're going to go into the next emanation of what happens in the journey. Now again, I may have to bring Shia the Kruak back. We have ecstasis is the next card out. Ecstasis is what we experience in our human forms, and other forms experience this too. I would say that it is this combination of energies that generates birdsong, that generates the growth of a plant, that is the regenerative force behind the elements of air, water, earth, and fire, which form the foundation of our carbon matter creation in our particular experience right now. So when you have this beginning, and then you have this leading first, down-stepping the energy to She of the Kruak, to the feminine, and then you have the next emanation of source coming in to He of the Fiery Sword, which is an emanation, a fraction nanopulse of energy that goes from this organization of magnetic to this organization of electric. And what happens is the next downstepping of energy, which we experience as ecstasy. This is what raising the Kundalini is about for many people. And this is the energy that gets misused and goes into procreation when procreation has not been aligned with these other energies and has not been aligned with source and unity. This causes so much pain and suffering. But these are the primary energies that are available to us. And it is the guardian at the gate who says, okay, kiddos, you're ready for the real deal. And we're going to awaken you to the real deal. So we have ecstasis. This is ecstasy. This is the energy aligned with these four, and these are all emanations of Source in expressing itself and doing its own journey of self-discovery. When we come into physical union, and those of us who have experienced the ecstasy of sacred union in our subtle energy bodies, we have an experience that is irrefutable, undeniable, and cannot be explained away by the third chakra energy of the mind. Okay, so this is what we've got going on. And again, I'm just describing our soul group's journey. Your journey, your reading would be different. And it might be really informative for you to see where you are in your soul group journey, because it could help you come together as a group and keep yourselves always in alignment. This is the experience of the bliss channel that our soul group has. We have this ecstatic energy that runs through us and keeps us in absolute, constant, unbreakable connection with Source. And when that happens, as has happened in our particular soul group, the divine masculine has begun to experience himself embodied in a different way. He is experiencing himself in his 1/3 electric expression, while internally he is in balance with his feminine and his masculine magnetic and electric energies that are together the sacred master key of co-creation. The next card out that explains our journey is the energy of solace. And this is the energy of he of the fiery sword, understanding his place in the emanation from Source and understanding what he brings into creation through the experience of generating ecstasy. And in this alignment, we do not have the divine masculine playfully running about the world, dropping his seed in any female body who will open her legs and allow access to a vagina. That's funny. That's a call. And the divine masculines who are awakening now are answering that call. I'm not going to get up and answer that phone call. Sorry for the interruption. So this is the journey that the divine masculine is on. And he is feeling this as a kind of a music in his soul and in his physical body. And he is using the energy that comes from sound of co-creation to really learn what is it like to regenerate himself, to come into a new expression and experience of being the electric magnetic in balance and having the divine feminine and the divine masculine and Source in balance within him and connected to Source. So at this next level, what the divine masculine is bringing coming into our soul group, which for quite some time consisted only of women. Now we have we have one divine masculine who is partnered with one of our soul group. We have another partnership in the making, and we have a third that's forming. And that's happening through the energy of, think of this as the monadic emanation of this energy coming from here and expressing through he of the fiery sword. Okay. So what he's bringing into our soul group is the experience of the 0 point where we're able to continually have access to the sacred master key energy. And he set the women in our soul group, our Trinity sisters, and if you go to my website, you can read about how we came together. 2 of us came together 25 years ago, but then we got our third Trinity sister in our soul group. We met her in 2017. That was orchestrated by Solus, coming in to do the corrective regeneration work that needs to be done with the divine masculine on a profound energetic level that until you experience it, it's impossible to describe it. But we have experienced it. We have experienced it as a kind of an emanation that moved through our lives and joined with us to create an incredible experience of becoming conscious as co-creators. And it was this that helped me in my role as the divine feminine in balance, 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3, to come through with the generation of the Conscious Co-Creation Masterclass, in which I explain not only how all of this works, which I've just given you the benefit of the explanation, but I give you the blueprint, I give you the map, I give you the book. And it has very little to do with the law of attraction or the secret. Then next out in this process, we have the divine masculine energy coming in to the natural expression of male electric 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 energy within the domain of expression we experience as our real world. And so this is coming together in our soul group, and the divine masculines are bringing their co-creative electrical charge in their balance of 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 into union with our expressions of divine feminine energy. And we're beginning to do our mission work. Now, when these three energies come together in the human form within the divine masculine, and we're just going to work with the divine masculine today because that's how this reading primarily came out. There is divine feminine energy in it, but it's a lead up to that. Then the next card we have out is the Singer of Transfiguration. And so now we have this process at hand, where the male human being is being transfigured. And if you are, you can think of it as him moving into his fully divine original blueprint and experiencing himself in all of his subtle energies, in all of his alternate timelines, emerging from the monad. Now he is awake, and he is transfiguring his human body and his experiences in the world in 3D, the reality we call 3D. Really only 2D, but that's another story. Then what this is leading to in the divine masculine, this process of transfiguration and him coming to the embodiment of himself in wholeness in his physical body, is he is experiencing where he has not been whole. And it's causing tremendous pain. But he is absolutely inspired by this energy to have the courage to move forward and to allow himself to be made anew by himself, not by another external superior energy, but by his own acceptance of the totality of who he is. And that leads in the divine masculine in a male embodiment as a man person. It leads to the truth, transparency, trust, and honesty for him to really face where he has not allowed himself to experience his own wholeness, and where he has not allowed himself to experience ecstasy 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 in a physical moment of sacred sexuality, many moments, with his divine feminine counterpart. So he's having to face the honesty of, what have I been doing with my fiery sword? What have I been doing with my fiery sword? How have I misused this energy? And how have I used it to manifest destruction? This is a very painful journey. But it is a journey that we're on. It's also a very ecstatic journey. There are moments of incredible bliss, and the gratitude is unending. All right, next out we have, once the divine masculine has come into his embodiment in the human form, and his nervous system and all his subtle energy bodies are waking him up, and it's a very electric process, and it is quite shocking. I've been through it as on the divine feminine, receiving this energy in my body to kick off the experience of being the fairy who was kissed by the pixies. I mean, literally, I had a charge from the Divine Masculine enter my physical body in 2016, and all I did was ask the question, who am I not seeing? Because I was already very, 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 very awake. But I was not seeing anywhere in my living experience, I was not encountering or seeing my divine counterpart. And I knew that he existed because I remember my connection to the monad. And I was asking, where are you? Why don't I see you? And at that moment, he showed up. He showed up in this form and in this form. And he began orchestrating the reunion of our soul group. He set this up. He set this up. And the divine feminine in me received it. I received this gift from him. And it began to become a living expression of Source and of ourselves together in union. And then I began to go through my own journey of realizing and recognizing where, despite more than 25 years of having been awakened, and the awakening, which was not a Kundalini awakening, it was an awakening in alignment with Source. It had nothing to do with sexuality. It was a moment that was ignited by sound. I had to dig deeper. I had to go in so that we could actually meet once again in our monadic energy, in our sacred union. I had to go in and get busy doing my work and cleaning up and reaching out and sharing. It was a very complex time. It is still a very complex time. He's been doing it on his side of the dynamic. I'm doing it on mine. But we now are aware of each other and we have physically met, and those in our soul group have recognized him, and we're hoping that as he's continuing this incredibly challenging journey, that he will make his choices about how he wants to be in relationship with us within the soul group. He's invited. We can't force him to accept the invitation, and the journey is his to make. But this did happen, and it was stunning. It absolutely blew me away. And I had already been blown away several times. And I had already begun doing my mission work in the world of bringing a new paradigm of energy healing into expression, into reality, and working with extraordinary people around the world, and being on a team that we had designed and agreed to in our monad expression, who we would work with to be part of our return journey home in the Ascension. So this is still ongoing. And next out, after this charging, where I was then the fairy who'd been kissed by the pixies, which was coming into these profound recognition of a relationship with Gaia. I had always loved nature, but I had never had an experience of being physically connected to Gaia. I am Gaia. Gaia is me. We are inseparable. I am an expression of her and all of her wisdom and intelligence and all of her elements. She has made me physical. She provided the nutrients for the maintenance and the development of my form. You know, but I hadn't really had an experience of that. I had been kind of thinking, oh, well, I had a mom. You know, this was earlier in my life. And though I had a profound love for nature, that I was in separation from Gaia. Well, this happened and I came out of separation from Gaia. I had already done some of that work myself in 2012 when Gaia personally came to me and asked me if I wanted to come and live on her new earth with her. And I said, yes, please. And that has happened. And that is part of the Ascension journey. Okay, so from 2016, now we're in 2019, I did not have occasion to come into physical contact with my divine counterpart. We were not ready. We were laying the foundation. 4 years, and for some people who are in sacred union, it's been much longer. Okay? So I have the tools and resources. I've been using them. I've been working with them. I've been sharing them. And now we're coming into a place where I actually have the opportunity to share a little bit of what my mission work is with him to help him get through this process, because this is really challenging. We've helped each other. Well, you guys who are on this journey know what I'm talking about. You, divine masculine, and you, divine feminines. Okay, so then next what happened with that ignition of sacred union in our physical bodies and beginning the process of coming into union, I would say in bursts of incredible awakening alignment energy, and then in slow, gentle waves. So it has very much followed the energies of divine masculine, bursts of electric energy, and slow, gentle waves of magnetic feminine energy, bringing things into balance. So the next thing that happened was that I was gifted through Gaia and through Source with an understanding of what was possible. Once again, it's not the first time. This is the second round for me. The first time I did this, I was confined to a religious doctrine which made life impossible for me to continue on for very long, and I died quite young. But I did come into a meeting and understanding who Gaia was and what she made possible in bringing out a holy spring of healing water. And so this was part of me remembering my information around being Tobira of the healing waters. Certainly I'm not the only one, but this has been a profound part of my union and of my mission in more than one incarnation on more than one timeline. Then after that happened, and during this time period, in between here and here, I met the others in our soul group, the women, and we came together and we had a recognition of who we were to each other. Again, extraordinary. And so through that process, we became singers of the chalice. And our soul group began laying its foundation as deeply connected friends. And along the way, one of the members of our group got herself more on her path of alignment with Source and wholeness, and she moved into friendship and partnership in sacred union. Took a lot of years for her to do that work. This does not happen fast. It happens thoroughly, but it doesn't happen fast. And this is all the she of the Kruak being open and ready to receive the information through ecstasis, through he of the fiery sword, and through the expression of himself coming into physical embodiment and bringing all of this energy with him from the monad. I don't think I can hold all these cards, and I'm gonna try. So this is where we are now, and we are doing our, oh my goodness, this is so hard, our soul group work together. in union, in community. Many expressions, many gifts, many talents. Stunning. Okay, so from here, after we formed our Trinity Sisters, singers of the Chalice, and came out with our mission work, which is our Source Solutions product, and the retreats and the other live events that we do and online education that we have available to the community. And we have now this tremendous energy of friends and sacred union partnerships forming within our soul group. That's where we are now. Now, for me personally, how this is expressed, because I am one expression within our soul group, this has come out for me as an understanding of myself as fairies, part of the fairies of the future energy, part of the alchemical process, and part of creating the new in alignment with Source. So when I came into union with my divine masculine, when we came together in ecstasy, in ecstasis, I'm going to bring She of the Kruak back. When we came together in alignment at an energetic, spiritual level, in ecstasis, we created something new at the request of Source. And it is this energy, the maiden, this something entirely new. And this is our mission together, and we're beginning to express this in the world we call the real world. And it is absolutely part of our commitment to a return journey back to Source, giving and being our best in our wholeness, with ease, abundance, unconditional love, grace, and unfathomable gratitude to each other and to Source, and to our bodies for allowing us the time to change and grow and transfigure so that we can embody our wholeness as part of our ascension journey. Okay, so my voice may be dropping, but it's because I really so feel this in every part of me. It's astonishing. All right, so this is where I have brought in the sacred feminine energy in my contribution to our soul group. And it's a contribution, and it's a gift we are giving each other. Okay. So I'm going to just put these cards up here, and I think I will let the little baby maiden show. There she is. This is our child. This is the child of my divine masculine and myself. And here he is in his physical expression of himself. He is the oak man. He is grounded and wise and gentle and kind and open and curious. And it's just, what a blessing, what a blessing. Okay, so there's that. All right. So this is how our soul group came together, and this is how we have begun our work as a soul group. And so the cards that came out next, the guidance card, absolutely, this was amazing to me. They just fell out in a clump. That seems to be the way I do things. Things fall out in clumps. I have a funny story I could tell about that with regard to a complete and total miraculous physical healing of my own body where stuff just fell out in a clump. So the cards that came out were, first, Soul Family, then Let It Go. And this for me represents the sword of truth and trust. This is the fiery sword again. Letting go into the power of this experience, because it's enough to knock you over. I've had moments in my journey where I have literally almost not been able to stand up because of the amount of energy that was moving through my body. And that was many, many, many years ago. And it kicked off another decade-long cycle of self-discovery and self-healing and self-awareness. Very profound. And during that particular experience, that much energy coming into my body also brought with it a sense of terror. Because if at any point in this journey we have experimented with playing with co-creation in ways that were not aligned with Source, we will have a pocket of terror within us, because we know we have been playing with breaking off a branch, of breaking off our connection and ending up as space dust. Soul family coming together, members of the soul group or soul tribe, recognizing who within the soul family needs to be let go with compassion, forgiveness, humility, and grace for them to go on their continuing journeys, their own journeys on their return path to Source, as they've chosen to perhaps meander a little bit more, experience a little bit more, express a little bit more, find out a little bit more about themselves and their wholeness. So at this time, we'll be letting some members of our soul family go, as we are coming into a deeper and more loving, trusting, and profound bond within our Sacred Union soul groups. Now, the next card that came out was Soul Name. So when these four cards came out in the clump, I knew that I was going to be guided into doing my first soul group reading. And one of the important parts of coming into the soul group is you have the opportunity to explore whether or not the name that you call yourself every day, the name that your family calls you, your children call you, your husband calls you, mother and father, whether that is in fact your soul name. When we're speaking about monadic energy and monadic expression coming directly from Source. So this is a time when some of you, as you're continuing on in your ascension journey and union within your soul group and union with your sacred divine counterpart, are going to be awakened to your soul name, and you're going to get to choose whether this is a name you want to use publicly or privately. Now, my name, Anais, is my soul name. It was given to me during my awakening in 1989, and it means heart and mind joined by the waters of creation. And I'm very happy to share my soul name publicly. But not everyone will choose to do that. Then the last card that came out from the Secret Language of Light deck was Soul Mating. So as I've taken you through this entire journey today, divine masculines and divine feminines, and those of you who are in union with your soul group and doing your mission work within your soul group, you're going to be experiencing the wonderful ecstatic bliss of having soul mating happening in your group. Our particular group, we have one established sacred union partner. We have another one that's just forming, and we have another one waiting in the wings. And we're very excited about this, and we are learning more and more about each other, and we're going really deep. And that's thanks to the setup that our He of the Fiery Sword and our sacred electric masculine energy set up for us. It's a beautiful, beautiful setup. It has been a mind blower all the way. And I'm looking forward to the moment when I'm able to look him in the eye and thank him and acknowledge him for the tremendous, tremendous, tremendous hard work he's gone through to set this up for all of us to share together. It's just really stunning. So while he may be continuing to do work in his human embodiment as the divine masculine, we have all witnessed how he's participated in our soul group and how he's been a member of our soul family for many, many lifetime experiences. So I want to just share that with you today. I hope this reading has resonated with you. And if you'd like to book a personal reading with me, perhaps for your own union, or you and your divine partner would like to book a joint reading together, or you would like to have me do a reading for your soul group, please email me in my email's in the description box below, and I would be happy to set that up with you. Now, the other thing is to let you know I do have a Patreon page, and for people who come in as a patron at the Sacred Union level of membership on my Patreon page, at the end of each month I upload a select number of extended readings for you to enjoy. And while those readings are $7 a piece when you decide to purchase them one by one through Vimeo, when you become a member of our Sacred Union patron tier on my Patreon page, then you will get at least 5 of those readings available to you each and every month, the extended readings that I'm doing for my intuitive readings for Sacred Union. So I hope again this resonates with you. Please do like, share, and comment if it has. We will be doing another Meeting the Beloved episode this coming weekend, where it sometimes can be complicated to schedule because within our soul group, everybody's got an active profession and a life that they're working with every day. So sometimes it's tricky for us to schedule until the very last minute. And I am once again going to apologize for my gnarly fingernails. I am a busy woman today, and this week I've been cleaning. I've had guests in and out. And trust me when I tell you that the last thing that really concerns me are whether my fingernails look good. I only had them painted because I attended a wedding recently, and I thought, all right, I'm going to do it. And then I haven't had time to work on them since. So I hope you'll forgive the gnarly nails. I know I watched some of these other readers, and boy, aren't their nails really spiffy. I doubt that I'll ever do that. But anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for stopping by the channel. And I do appreciate your comments. I will reply if it's a thoughtful comment and there's something that I can share with you that might be valuable for your own soul growth and for what you're finding out about your sacred union. And lastly, I want to express my deepest appreciation and gratitude for all of you divine feminines and masculines and all of the soul groups that are coming together. This has been an enormous undertaking, an enormous spiritual undertaking, an amazing opportunity for spiritual growth and development. So thank you very much, because we all know, those of us who are on it, we know how challenging and painful it can be as we remove any aspect of ourselves that is not in alignment with our original divine source blueprint. We're responsible for every speck, and we know it. And we also know that we're here to help each other. And so we're very, very, very fortunate to be on this journey and experiencing ascension in this way. Okay, that's it for me, Anais, Patreon Sage. I hope to see you again.